say some ghosts are trapped between worlds. Some are stuck reliving their last moments again and again and again. And others just want to hurt you. Say hello to my new friend. I'm here with another scary story from around the world. This week we're reading about the Caretaker from Blackridge Castle. There's a castle deep in the northern hills of Blackridge, hidden behind fog-covered woods and winding paths no map dares to mark. Blackridge Castle. Locals don't speak of it, not out of superstition, but out of fear. Generations ago, it was a royal manor. Now it stands forgotten, decayed by time and overgrown with ivy. But they say someone still lives there. Not a ghost, not a spirit, but a man, an old man, twisted by time, hatred, and something far worse. No one knows his real name. They simply call him the Caretaker. Okay, now that was an amazing intro. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let me know by hitting that like button. So we have a big castle. We got a caretaker who has been living there forever, or maybe even longer than forever, and he seems to hate people. Let's find out why. We've always heard legends of places in our world where time moves slower. You could visit for a few minutes, but years would pass for the people living there. Places where if you stay too long, you lose your mind or worse, become trapped forever. Sometimes these are alternate dimensions. Other times they're dreams or fairy tales. But every so often there's a place like this in our own reality. And Blackridge Castle is one of those places. It's said that centuries ago, the man was a servant to the last noble family of the castle. One night a fire broke out. The noble family escaped but left the servant to die, locked in the servants' quarters beneath the floorboards. But he didn't die. He survived and he never left. When the castle was abandoned, he remained. Over the years, he changed. Not just mentally, but physically. He grew pale, thin, eyes sunk deep, voice like wind through stone. And worst of all, he lost his humanity. They say the caretaker haunts the castle not as a ghost, but as a cursed soul, half alive, half something else. He doesn't want visitors. He waits. And if you enter his castle, he follows. This story comes from a legend published by Stephen Gamble entitled The Caretaker. The author put his own spin on the classic haunted house trope. He based his work off of many similar folktales collected over the years in his hometown. According to local lore, the castle was once a grand residence for nobility, but was abandoned after a massive fire, leaving one servant trapped within its walls. Some say his masters deliberately set him ablaze, while others claim he perished in the blaze trying to save his lord and lady. Regardless, they say he survived and became the castle's caretaker, watching over the ruins until this very day. But what does he do when he finds intruders like our next victim? In the nearby town of Oakhaven, the legend of the Caretaker's castle is mostly dismissed as superstitious nonsense. There are rumors of strange occurrences around the old manor, whispers of unnatural cold spots, disembodied footsteps, and voices in the dead of night. But most folks believe these stories are exaggerated, made up by bored teenagers with too much time on their hands. However, there are a few who take these legends seriously, especially those who witnessed the disappearance of Mark Thomas, one of the town's for missing persons. Mark was a bright young man with a passion for exploring abandoned places. He was part of a group of friends who stumbled upon Blackridge Castle. While investigating the surrounding woods, they claimed to see the castle in the distance, its towers and battlements shrouded in mist. Excited to discover a potential new location for their channel, they set off across the forest. As twilight began to fall, they heard strange noises coming from the direction of the castle. These unsettling sounds included dragging metal moans, whispers, and what sounded like screams in the distance. Despite these eerie sounds, they pressed on. They wanted to reach the castle before nightfall and were eager to explore the rumored haunted mansion. Their determination led them deeper into the forest, unaware of the danger lurking nearby. They finally emerged from the trees and came face to face with Blackridge Castle, towering before them in all its dilapidated glory. As they approached the main entrance, they noticed that it was slightly ajar. Intrigued and wanting to gain access to the castle's interior, they pushed the door open and stepped inside. The moment they entered, the atmosphere shifted. The temperature dropped dramatically, sending shivers down their spines. The air grew heavy and stagnant, making it difficult to breathe. They found themselves enveloped in an oppressive silence, broken only by their own heartbeat and the echo of their footsteps. The grand hall stretched before them, its vaulted ceiling barely held together. Cobwebs draped across the room like macabre decorations, and dust lay thick on the floor, undisturbed for decades. Through the gloom, they could make out decaying furniture and suits of armor standing guard, their metal visors glinting menacingly in the dim light. As they ventured deeper into the castle, they began to hear strange noises. Footsteps echoed on the stone stairs, and whispers seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. The sound of a lone piano playing a mournful tune drifted from an unseen room, sending a chill down their spines. Despite the mounting dread, they couldn't resist the urge to explore further. In a dimly lit chamber, they discovered an ornately carved wooden door set into the wall. Curiosity got the better of them, and Mark, unable to resist the allure of the unknown, reached out and knocked. A raspy voice seemed to materialize out of nowhere, sending them all jumping in surprise. "Who's there?" it croaked. "Leave before it's too late." Startled by the sudden and unexpected response, they hesitated for a moment, unsure of what to do. But the voice seemed to come from behind the locked door, suggesting that there might be someone in need of help or perhaps something sinister lurking within the room. Unable to resist the urge to investigate, Mark decided to disregard the warning and push open the door, eager to uncover whatever secrets lay beyond. As he turned the handle and stepped inside, the others crowded behind him, their faces pale with anticipation and fear. But when they peered into the room, what they saw left them stunned and horrified. The room was empty, devoid of any furniture or any sign of life whatsoever. Yet the atmosphere within was thick with a palpable sense of menace, as if the very walls were closing in on them. As they stood there, the air grew heavy with tension and unease. Suddenly, the ground beneath their feet began to tremble and the walls seemed to shake violently. The others screamed in terror as the door they had just opened slammed shut with a resounding bang, sealing them within the room. Trapped in the darkness, they stumbled backward, their hands outstretched in a futile attempt to find the door in the pitch-black room. But their efforts were in vain. As their panic grew, they could feel the temperature plummeting around them, and a bone-chilling cold seeped into their bones. The voice echoed once more, this time closer, more menacing than before. "You shouldn't have come here," it rasped, dripping with malice. "Now you'll never leave." With that final ominous warning, the darkness around them seemed to coalesce, forming a shape in the gloom. A tall, gaunt figure emerged from the shadows, its eyes glowing ominously in the darkness, his gaze fixed on them with a mixture of malice and triumph. Caretaker had found his newest victims, and he had no intention of letting them go. Our heroes ran as fast as they could, desperate to escape the clutches of the Caretaker and his cursed domain. But as they fled, they could hear the sound of his dragging footsteps echoing behind them. Relentless and inexorable, panic surged through their veins as they raced through the labyrinthine halls. Each corner they turned, offering no respite from the horror that pursued them. They burst through doors, not knowing where they would lead, but driven by the primal instinct to flee. But no matter how fast they ran, they could hear the Caretaker close behind, his presence growing more menacing with every passing moment. The castle itself seemed to be taunting them, its echoing chambers amplifying their terror. Just when their strength began to fail and their hope seemed to dwindle, they stumbled upon a window at the end of a crumbling stone wall. With a surge of adrenaline, they clambered through the opening, escaping into the night. Gasping for breath, they stumbled away from the castle, their bodies trembling with exhaustion and fear. As they looked back, they saw the Caretaker standing at the edge of the window, his silhouette framed against the dim light spilling from the room behind him. His eyes, burning with rage and despair, stared out at them, vowing revenge. They had escaped for now, but they knew that the curse of Blackridge Castle would forever haunt their dreams. When the news of the disappearance reached the local police, a search party was assembled to comb through the dense woodland surrounding Oakhaven. Days turned into weeks, but the search yielded no results. The missing hikers were nowhere to be found. The case was eventually closed, marked as unsolved, and the legend of Blackridge Castle continued to cast its shadow over the town. To this day, the castle stands abandoned and shrouded in mystery, a silent testament to the tragedy that befell those who dared to venture within its cursed walls. As the mists roll in and the winds whisper through the crumbling towers, the locals of Oakhaven can't help but shudder at the thought of the Caretaker and his eternal vigil. If you like scary stories, make sure to subscribe and check out more content because I got way more where that came from. Also, if you want to hear more stories like this, make sure to check out the podcast. New episodes drop every Wednesday, and if you want to send me a story, use the link below. Until next time, sleep tight.